We are on the road to something indeed. Welcome back to the Divine Deception. That's right, we did Locks. Locks Chapter 6 was really interesting. It's a late game twist that we really should have seen coming, but makes us wonder how on earth, what on earth is going to happen in Locke's final chapter and the final stretch of the campaign, with Bach being a patsy. At a questionable point in time. Curious to see if Locke's final chapter is even going to cover the election. If this story is even going to get to the election. Or if it's going to peak before that point. But we're going to use a gold key on Vels, Chapter 6, and proceed. Smoiled ringers! Getting to the Olimpo building was not a difficult endeavor. Quite smartly, they located the main headquarters in the center of Panthea. Vels, what are you doing in... It was also the tallest building around. They really made it feel like Panthea was Olimpo's. At the very least, Olimpo was Panthea's. One of the two. The point is, just like the company felt like an inherent part of the city's economy, the company's headquarters felt like an inherent part of the city proper. Whatever. At this point, I had mused over the size and location of Olimpo's headquarters 10 times more than any sane person should. What was I doing? I had things to do. I should just enter. And so, enter I did. I then made my way over to the front desk receptionist. Hello. I'm here to have a meeting with Polly Deisma. In his office. Would you please let me up to see him? Is that right? Well, I'm sorry, visitor, but Mr. Deisma's office is on a restricted floor. I can't just let anybody up there. If you don't have proof of this meeting, I'm afraid I can't do anything. I sighed. Then I put out my phone. It took a moment to call a number. Ring. Ring. What? Hello? Hey, Polly. It's me, Vels. I'm at the Olimpo main building. Oh, already? That's cool. Hey, look, I'm a little busy at the moment, so just go on up to my office and I'll meet you as soon as I can. Yeah, that's what I was going to do, but I can't get to your floor. Apparently it's restricted or something. Is Ambi giving you a hard time? Put me on the phone with her for a second. Sure thing. Did as I was told, handing my phone over to the receptionist. Oh, hi, Polly. Uh-huh. Okay. Most certainly. Okay, got it. Nice talking to you, too. The receptionist hung up, then handed me back my phone. All right, you're good. She then reached into a small basket in front of her, fished a card out of it, and handed it to me. These are visitor pass IDs. Good for one elevator pass up, one down. That should work for you. Thank you. Happy to help. That minor hurdle jumped, I passed by the receptionist table and made my way over to the nearby elevators. I entered, scanned the ID, and pressed the button with a star next to it. Next thing I knew, I was going up. The doors opened, and here I was on the restricted floor. Progress. Walked forwards and was greeted with the restricted floor security station. Visitor. Hi, Zeeth. We haven't seen you since Laverna's Chapter 2. You could say. All right. Put any metal objects of personal belongings on the tray. And walk through the metal detector. I just nodded. Took the phone out of my pocket and put it on the tray. Then I stepped forward and moved through the metal detector. Zeeth still thought it worthwhile to give me a quick pat down. He also gave my phone a quick look. Then he handed it to me and nodded. Good to go. Cool. Man, how obsessive was that? Guess it was warranted, but still. Walked further down the hallway, passing some doors. Got to a turn, went left. Eventually I came up to Polly's office. I was going to enter right away. But then I stopped. I heard something. Someone. I got close to the nearby door, which was the source of the speaking. Which admittedly probably looked proper sketchy to anybody who might pass by at this point in time. Let's just bet against that being a thing that happens. Just wanted to hear what was being said. Because in the room I heard Art Deisma's voice. He was having a heated conversation. I tried to see what I could pick up. Yes. Yes, I know. My fault. Should have handled it. Can we get past that, please? You know, I don't know why we're having this conversation in the first place. I didn't come asking for your advice. Honestly? No, I don't care how. I'm sure you have your ways. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. Just cross for perhaps obvious reasons. Is this the other side of Art's conversation with Yi? I mean, if you're already offering. Might be? No, I'm aware of that. No, this is different. The issue is that as it stands, she's in an incredibly compromised position. If she's compromised, then she can't help me, and she can't help Olimpo. He's definitely talking about Aisha, though. But what can we do? There are no leads. We were thoroughly... What? No, that can't be right. If the situation was handled, she wouldn't have come to me. Okay, well, that doesn't really sound handled. That sounds like a stopgap. Such negotiations have already been proven entirely fruitless. Is this not simply attempting the same trick in a different way? Yes, this time we'd have the hidden knowledge, but it doesn't change the core issue. Alright, fine, if that's really adequate. You know, you are the one who taught me to be complete. And your tone seems very much in line of good enough. Again, yes, I know you never liked her, but that isn't the point here. I heard Art let out a deep sigh. Is he talking to Odin? Just... Is any of this really necessary? No, I mean, any of it. You are a monolith of a company. This sort of action is beneath us. We should not have to rely on such underhanded methods. Is there hope for you yet, Art? Is such total dominance necessary? Rather, is it not more impressive were we to achieve it without stooping below our level? Who says? Who says methods don't matter? Why not? Why shouldn't they? Yeah, burden of proof. I understand. I don't know. Guess I'm just tired of it all. Of people getting hurt. The scheming. It is draining. Yes. Yes, of course. Nothing worthwhile is easy. I know that quite well. But even still... No, I'm not questioning you. You know what? Forget it. I don't know why I decided to talk to you of all people about this. My tone? So sorry to hear that. Pray tell, what will you do about it? Let us not forget who runs Olimpo. Just doing as you said. Art's argument had come to an end. Some interesting stuff to be inferred there. However, I instantly realized something. The call was ending. Immediately, I rushed to the other side of the hallway. I opened the door to Polly's office. As soon as I entered, I closed the door behind me. At the same time, I heard a door opening on the other side of the hallway. I stayed put, pressed up against the door, not daring to get in sight of the windows. I strongly prefer Art to not see me. I hear the sound of the door slamming shut. That question was answered with a tentative knock on the door. I just stayed put, not moving, not breathing, just waiting. A few moments later, I thought I heard the sound of footsteps leaving. Oh, thank God. Looks like Art got bored or something. I took a deep breath and began walking around the office. It was nice enough. Could have had a bit more, foresight to not slam the door, but fair enough, got away with it. It was nice enough, a number of things scattered about. I would normally take in the scenery, but I was more focused on something else. Let's see. I thought that looked like it would do. I walked over to a bookshelf at the side of the office. Bookshelf I highly doubted was ever put to much use. Why are we putting it to use today? I lifted up one of the books on the top shelf. Beneath it, I had left my little present. Let the book drop back down, mostly covering it. That was good enough. So now I waited. Oh? Wasn't sure how long it'd take for Polly to get here. Part of me wanted to keep snooping around. But there probably wouldn't be much use in that. Instead, I just took out my phone. Let's just kill time. Spent a bit browsing through some apps. After a bit, I heard the sound of the door opening. I looked up. Sure enough, enter Polly Deisma. Ah, Vels. Polly? After one more press of the screen for good measure, I stuffed my phone in my pocket. Then I straightened up, walking to the center of the room. Polly, for his part, just kept walking to his desk. He then took a comfortable seat behind his desk. His desk seat was very comfortable and spun around. How nice. I like those types of chairs. Me too. Then again, who doesn't? It's a binary choice. Either you have a chair that lets you spin around, or you have a chair that doesn't. It doesn't exactly take a genius to tell which situation is winning. Vels. What is up? So good to see you, mi amigo. Good to see you too, Polly. Glad I can. Considering everything, I decided to proceed with caution. I mean, I always had in the past. And even more so now. I spoke quietly. Made sure to look down. My hood obscured a lot of my face. Maybe it was a little cold. It just felt like best practices, you know? Couldn't be too safe. As am I. More so than you, I'd even wager. That's a wager I imagine you'd win. I mean, Vels is pretty much always lukewarm about this relationship. Oh, you wouldn't be weeping upon my death? Utterly unconsolable? I'd find a way to move on, somehow. How sweet. Seriously, I have to give you my deepest thanks. Honestly, when I picked you two up, I was sort of unconvinced. The idea was Chara's. Never could have thought. Well, I guess I just underestimated Art. Never really thought he put my life in jeopardy for such material things. For fuck's sake. Really disillusioning. Yeah, a little bit, understandable. Really stings. Sorry to hear that, Polly. That must suck. I don't worry about that, I'll be fine. I mean, it's not like Art and I have really been close for a while. Obviously. I guess I always held to some hope that we'd be able to repair that bridge. But funnily enough, I don't think we're ever going to be able to get over this one. Attempted assassination feels like the line. Like maybe that's what you call it. And you're sure it was Art? I mean, it has to be, right? I don't think anyone else would have the motive to kill me. Fair enough. Say, did you know the guy that actually tried to kill you? What? No, I didn't. Why would I? I don't know. Just got a weird vibe. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Speaking of, as I was saying, I don't know how I could repay you, Vels. Without your diligence, I'd be dead. You literally saved my life, and I'll forever be in your debt. Like, seriously, whatever you need, I can hook you up. Like, good to know. For starters, you could let me in on what's happened with Krish. Krish, right. Don't you worry, I covered for them. Like when the cops came. Told me how that Seth guy was dirty, and how he couldn't be trusted. I was able to give them a head start. They got away just fine. They hid their presence from the police. Really? Seth didn't find out. Nobody suspected a thing. Oh. Okay, maybe a small amount of people maybe have suspected a small amount of thing. But they probably thought it was related to me being a screw-up or something, so we're in the clear. Good. That's good to know. Krish's hair would be at the scene, and that would be a motive for someone covering up Krish's presence at that scene. Would be a motive for someone to snatch all of the hair and DNA evidence collected from that scene. So they couldn't identify Krish's presence there. That would explain why Laverna might have done what she did. I don't know how she would be connected to Polly or friends, but that would be an explanation for it. That is also concerning that they went and collected more DNA evidence after that went missing. Hey, what can I say? I know what's up. I'm good to my word. Uh-huh. So what now? Can't imagine you have Krish staying in that burned down house. Yeah, no, unfortunately with repairs happening there, that option wasn't exactly viable. I had to get creative. Basically, before Krish left, I told them to just hide in the forest for a bit, then meet at a certain spot at a certain time. Then I drove them to the best hotel in Panthea and booked them a great apartment. Polly! Are you serious? Hey, I'm not stupid, okay? You told me the situation. I know the Duats are looking for Krish. I was careful about things, you know? I was strategic. Came late at night and paid the person at the desk good to keep things on the down low. I also dressed Krish up pretty heavily. And here's the best part of all this. I also needed a place to stay while repairs were being done. So I booked the room in my name. Put everything on my dime. So you're rooming with Krish? What, me? You a burden like that on them? That'd be unfair. No, I'm staying with Char for now. Still, paperwork-wise, it'll look like it's me staying there. And if someone wanted to come back and kill you again... And Krish knows how to keep a low profile. They're smart. Generally. Mostly. It is likely that they learned their lesson after this instance. Still, the Duat Information Network almost certainly is searching hotels. You really still on that? Don't you think the Duats have more on their plate than some kid? They're a monolith. They have a lot of agents. Sure, but the hotels have already been pumped for info. They got nothing in the past. Why would Krish suddenly show up now? It's still standard practice to keep the hotels under surveillance. Sure, but to a diminished extent. It'll be fine, Vels. It's the best option. I didn't like it. Krish was still in more danger now than they were before. It's not like Polly was wrong, per se. It seemed like a reasonable amount of precautions were taken. Ultimately, I had to concede that in all likelihood, Krish would be safe. Okay. Thank you, Polly. I appreciate what you've done for Krish. Hey, don't mention it. No skin off my back whatsoever. Just looking out for the squad. I mean, doing this? Kind of the least I can do considering you two saved my life, don't you think? Correct. Right. So, don't sweat it. I'm down to keep Krish out of Duat eyes. Speaking of... Vels, what's your situation looking like? You were also put on the Duat watch list, right? Where are you staying these days? You know, here and there. Here and there? I make do. Don't need to worry about me. Fine, really. I really didn't want Polly to push on this point. For some reason, I felt like I'd have a harder time battling the issue away from Polly than I would from Krish. I didn't want the conversation to head in this direction. I already had conversational plans. Like it seemed as though Polly didn't really care. Playing it close to the chest. Telling only what you need to tell. I can respect it. It's smart. That's smart. street smarts that keep you alive, you feel me? Mm-hmm. You know, I appreciate your bluntness, Vels. So many people here at Olimpo, they're fake. Posturing, false smiles, the whole shebang. They never just say what they want, what they're thinking. But you, Vels? You're straightforward. You're honest. I respect that. I try. Speaking of Olimpo, how are things going on that front? Still at a standstill? Well, you know, it's about how you look at things, you know? Standstill's a real negative term. I like to manifest positive things. Slowly building upward momentum. Okay, but is it not a standstill? No, not really. I mean, on the big issues, yeah, we're not making a ton of, you know, Polly performed some confusing hand signals. Mood, Polly. Forward motion. On the sides, there's all sorts of progressing. The sides. You know, the peripheries. Things that aren't directly tied to progress, but help. I've been making inroads at the company. Toward the old company line. Helping people out. Not just in a casual way, but like in an official capacity. Learning the culture. Just generally befriending other big shots. And this is useful because, look, I believe in a little thing called power of the people. I like forming coalitions. Befriending everyone I can. You never know who will end up being helpful sometime down the road. So for your information, I think this has been very useful work. It's just not obvious, not paying immediate dividends, so to speak, I guess. So I'd prefer advancements that are actually tangible. Yeah, same, but who knows? A shareholders' meeting is approaching pretty soon. Maybe there'll be an opportunity there. You think an opportunity will just fall into your lap? It's always possible. Alright. Enough was enough. Time to see how things would play out. Began to casually pace around the office. Made my way over to the bookshelf, looked at it with faint interest. And now, I noticed something. Reached up, delicately pushing a book up. I unearthed something that was being covered up. This whole time, Polly had been watching me with vague interest as he spoke. However, as I lifted the book, he began to focus in. Awesome. Pulled out the little baggie hidden below the book. What? Hey. This is... What the? Polly jumped up in surprise. What is that? Hey, hand that over. Is it yours? No. No, I've got no idea what that's doing there. But you shouldn't have it. That right. Maintained a stone face. Polly's freakout was understandable. Polly was very confused. After all, he hadn't left any drugs into that book. Are you trying to set him up? I had. The average person put in this position would react in a very similar way to Polly. Most would be more confused, maybe even a bit accusatory. However, there was a different hint in Polly's voice. Hesitation. Likely grounded in the fact that he wasn't sure whether or not that should be there. Whether he was just forgetting this little baggie. In other words, he's not clean. To Polly, it was entirely plausible that this discovery was legitimate, as I had expected. What is this? Huh? What is this doing here? I don't know. It's not mine. I've got no idea what it's doing there. I looked over the book again. It's your office. Yeah, and? Maybe I'm being presumptuous. I don't really know why anyone would hide drugs in your office. Seems pretty dumb to me. Surely there'd be better places. Chara comes in here a lot. She's in here all the time when I'm away. Basically her second office. Basically share the office. It's gotta be hers. Chara's? Really? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. I didn't take her to have her drug habit. Neither did I. That's why this is coming as such a surprise to me. Polly? You really expect me to believe that this is Chara's stash? Polly looked down, conflicted. I had to guess, he was legitimately asking himself that question. Ultimately, it looked like he landed on the reasonable answer. No. So it's yours. Probably. Probably? Polly, you said you're trying to become the CEO of Olimpo. You're trying to become a better person. This isn't acceptable. Hey, that's not recent. It's not? No, I've been clean for a while now. I must have found some of my old stuff. Even still, this. My tone came across as incredibly judgmental. For having set him up. Yeah. Hey, I told you about this. I told you that I used to be a party animal. You know you did, you just didn't realize you were doing stuff this hard. What'd you think I was doing? I don't know, weed? Seriously? Hell's weed is, like, barely a drug. Okay, I realize statements like that aren't helping my case. Polly took a moment to breathe. Sorry for freaking out like that. Just... I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of myself how I used to be. But I said that, you know, but this is a particularly dark chapter of my life. The person I was... Look, I've got an addictive personality. It was pretty bad. There are just stretches of time I wouldn't remember. Seriously, that's the old me. Even still, I only ever harmed myself. I knew how to handle my trips. This was proving surprisingly effective. One baggie had put Polly in tragic backstory mode. This was a worthwhile plan. What is the goal of this? It was a bit costly. I had to actually buy the supplies. But as luck would have it, I had a pretty good avenue toward that regard, naturally. I had to say, as low as I've been, I'd never thought I'd be participating in drug deals. It was a slightly surreal experience. That usually happened via dead drops in restroom hidey holes, or was that just the newest drug dealing meta? Perhaps I'd never know. So you're claiming you always had things under control. This label habit of yours never got out of hand. No, I always kept it under control. I mean, as in control as I could reasonably keep it. Obviously, it wasn't, like, smooth or easy. This was the problem that I faced alone and affected me alone. I made sure of that. The thing is that Polly's legitimately clean and trying to be better, than what Vels is doing is really disrespectful. More of a sign of Vels' don't trust anyone attitude than anything. But our knowledge of Eris and Laverna's interaction with Polly's phone makes us believe that one, he may still be going after drugs, and two, he may have harmed some people in the course of his bad spirals. I don't know about that. Vels? Did research into you, Polly. Make sure we were in safe hands. I'd always heard the rumors. General gossip mill. But I didn't ever know any specifics. Not until I went looking for them. These scandals? They don't look good. They really, really don't look good. Where'd you get this from? Not long ago, the Oracle put out an article that compiled most of the relevant stories against you. The Oracle. Seriously. Fuck that place, for real. Don't shoot the messenger. And don't duck the question, Polly. You made a nuisance of yourself in public multiple times. Doing things that frankly seemed insane. They speculated that at the time that those incidents that took place, that you were on drugs. It's like they were right. It's not like I was making an effort to hide it. A lot of those incidents I wouldn't call harmless. It wasn't that bad. Practicing karate on swans at the Central Park. That was a case of self-defense. Shouting at random kids about where babies came from. That's public vulgarity. I was provoked. Throwing a squirrel in a fast food window. Yeah, I got nothing on that one. It's just really bad, Polly. I know. What do you think I wanted to change? God, what is your deal right now? Are you after me? After you? Have you turned against me or something? Are you working for art? Working for art? Are you serious, Polly? What possible reason would I have for that? Would you please be reasonable? I'm trying to have a sensible conversation right now. Making that quite difficult. You're right. I'm sorry. I am. Just I don't know. I get defensive about that stuff. Yes, I'm not perfect. Yes, I did some bad things in my past. It's not like anything was out of malice, you know? Nothing serious, nothing permanent. Callista. You got that name. Though the moment I said the name, it was like a bomb had dropped. Polly completely froze up. His face flashed with shock. For a moment, that's how it stayed. Then it transitioned to fear. That's the name from the phone that Eris hacked. Anger. Fusion. Fear again. Regret. Irritation. Sadness. Rage. Then back to shock. All in the space of a few seconds. It certainly settled things in my mind. Sorry? Callista. I don't, How did you... Callista. You're not... Polly was looking around, uncomfortably. It was like with a single word I was cornering him. He was physically recoiling. It was kind of pathetic, actually. Almost sad. Almost. I want you to explain, Callista. How does that fit into your version of things? How is that not serious? That does very much stand out. Look, you don't get it. You just don't get it, okay? I don't know what you think you know. And you know it's totally wrong. Off base. So you know, let's just move on. I'm mistaken. Yeah. Okay then. How? Huh? How am I mistaken? The whole Callista thing. Can't trust a thing that girl says, man. She's like totally unreliable. Super jilted. Because you know, I was an asshole to her. I won't dispute that. I was a dick. Because of that, she apparently feels like she has carte blanche to just say whatever she likes. Because of that, she's been spreading some really serious shit about me, and none of it's true. It's scary. Like, seriously. But it's the truth. Huh. So Callista was just, what, lying? Probably. Okay. But that's weird. Because as I understand it, a reporter was actually pushing her to speak out more. To talk. If she was really going to spread malicious rumors, you'd think it would be the other way, right? Ready to tell the truth? Look, the truth is... Callista doesn't know what happened that night. I'm sure of it. Neither am I. I blacked out. We went shot for shot. So I don't remember anything. There's no way she does. Anything she might have said. I think it was just her guesswork. She got bad vibes from me, again, not for unjustified reasons. So she jumped to the worst. Thought the worst about me. And when she realized that she shouldn't be spreading things she didn't know for sure were true, she backed off. Nothing weird about that, right? That makes sense. Polly. Really should stop lying. If you didn't remember what happened, you wouldn't call it an accident. If she didn't remember what happened, you wouldn't have to talk it over with her. Okay, what the fuck? How'd you get all this information? Where's this coming from? Let's just say little birdie came to me. Little birdie. Little birdie knows about you. Got a private investigator look into you, and I couldn't find out about you. Polly, this isn't the point. I'm talking about you. Fine. Fine? Fine. Fine, you got me, okay? I was a piece of shit. I did things I'm not proud of. I've denied that, you know? I said from minute one. You shouldn't have faith in me. I was a shitty person. I have a shitty past. You should be supporting me not because I'm worth it, but because of what I can do for my workers. I thought we were past this. You might have been past this. I was past it at the time. I never got past this because I didn't know about it. Okay, well now you do. What are you trying to accomplish, huh? Are you hounding me with random stuff from my past? Can't I try to just move on? Be a better person? This isn't just stuff, Polly. Whatever. Whatever. Look, you don't get it, okay? You don't get how hard it is to be in my position. know the things I went through in my childhood, okay? You know how it feels for the only comfort you feel to be found at the bottom of a bottle. You know how shitty it feels to not have control of yourself, to have to deal with what feels like another person's mistakes. There's so much stress in my life, you know? It's only natural that it... What are you doing, Vels? Look at me, okay? Stop hiding behind that quiet voice, that stupid hoodie. What am I doing? What am I doing? What are you doing? Polly, what are you doing? Huh? This is a rare point in time where I feel like playing the stories in order has skipped out on a bit of continuity here. Like a really drastic bit of continuity here between the end of the house incident and Vels finding out about Vels 1 going looking for the deepest, darkest crimes of Polly Deisma, and 2, Vels finding out about it, and 3, Vels deciding to confront Polly about it. Including this master manipulating tactic of planting drugs in the room of a known drug addict. In theory, recovering drug addict. Using that to manipulate him into telling the truth about everything, all the horrible things he's done in the past. I feel like we've jumped a bit of continuity here, and I'm hoping that next episode of Eris's story kind of bridges that gap. You asked why I was pushing you like this. Why I was bringing up all this shit you claimed in the past. You don't see how incredibly relevant this is? Fine. Let me make it clear to you. Right now you've been asking me to support you in taking over the Olimpo company. To do that, I need to make an informed decision as to who would actually be a better CEO. That involves assessing both the character of you and Art. You want to hear about Art? Because believe me, I got stories. I'm not talking about Art right now, Polly. I'm talking about you. Do you know what I think about you right now? Maybe legitimately trying to become better, but you're doing that by just brushing aside the awful shit you have done. Not reconciling that. Not making amends for that. Burying that in an attempt to paint yourself as a better person. No. I'm gonna tell you. I think you're charismatic. I think people like you. I think you don't intend to do harm. That's the positives category. I also think you're utterly unfit to run a business. Your entire life you've coasted off your last name. The majority of your life you have never really done any hard work. The bit of you that is... and the bit of it you willingly subjected yourself to, as your brother accurately guessed, was nothing more than a token gesture. Something to make yourself feel better. I'm certain if you surveyed the people you worked with, they would all say the same thing. You probably didn't say it to your face. Maybe because you were really above them on the totem pole. Maybe because you're affable. Most certainly, they all resented you, viewing you as the entitled brat that you were. Entitled brat? Oh, trust me, it gets worse. You were also a crippling alcoholic and habitual drug user. Both substances can be used recreationally without much harm. This is not one of those cases. These are serious problems and your struggles with them are valid. They don't excuse your actions. You say you tried to move past it. I'm sure you have. Instead of going to rehab, you're just trying harder. Evidence doesn't back up that you really stopped. That's... Most importantly, you have a long history of poor decisions and reckless actions in your past. Many of which have caused harm to others. Some of which certain people may call unforgivable. Now, you ask if people should be allowed to grow. I don't know. Personally, I'm more hardline than most folks, but I acknowledge redemption should be possible. To do so, that involves atoning properly to those who you've hurt. To do so, it involves repenting for your actions. To do so, it involves improving both yourself and the world around you. I haven't seen evidence of you doing any of that. All I've seen is you whine, complain, deny, and do everything except taking responsibility for your actions. And if you ask me, I don't think that's the person who should be running a multi-billion-dollar company. Not just me. For a moment, Polly's expression cycled through a number of emotions. Finally, It settles on a completely defeated look. Slowly, his head began to dip. You're right. You were absolutely right. I'm scum. I'm really scum. Even now I thought I accepted it. And I couldn't own up to my past to you. I'm sorry. I just don't deserve pity. Never want anything to do with me again, I'd understand it. I don't deserve any of your compassion. Your help, your benefit of the doubt. Of course, I won't stop protecting Krish. But you can just do what you want. You should. Do a lot more good than helping an asshole like me. I don't want to walk away. I want to make sure the best person wins the race for Limbo. And you haven't convinced me that person is you. But, more to the point, I don't buy this whole woe is me act for a second. I don't want your submission. I want you to own up to the truth. This does nothing to me. Okay, I get it. I suck. I'm garbage. How many times do you want me to say it? I suck. Go help Art, that's for the best. It's been thoroughly established. There's nothing for me. If I could die to make up for my mistakes, I would. Wouldn't fix anything. What would fix things would be if I used Limbo for good. That's what I'm gonna do. With you or without you. Huh. Wow. You really are shameless, huh? Yeah. Man, I'm like totally unforgivable. It's funny, really. Tried to be a Buddhist, ended up an asshole. So close. Real fine line. Ah well, all I can do is laugh, you know. Really? Really struggling to find an angle here. Look, I just don't know what you want from me. Confessed, didn't I? What I want is the truth. I told you the truth. Not the whole truth. Basically know the truth. You know I sucked in the past. You know I'm trying to be better. You know I don't mean anyone harm. I mean, you know me. No, I don't. I really don't know you. Is that right? I nodded. In that case, maybe you should rethink your position right now. Polly's face darkened and his voice hardened. Excuse me? I mean, if you don't know what sort of person I am, I'd say it'd be pretty dangerous for you to come in and start harassing me like that. That is, if you really don't know what I'm capable of. Wow. This was so absurd I couldn't help but let out a small chuckle. Are you serious? Are you trying to threaten me right now? Oh, why do you have to make everything so dramatic? Just laying things out honestly. I don't know what you know about me. Do you think I'd let a twerp like you get in the way? Oh no, I'm pretty sure you're trying to threaten me right now. For the record, it's really not working. And you think I'm scared of you? You're incompetent. An idiot. Always been carried, first by Art, now by Char. Yeah, just let him do the boring work. Never been fond of busy work. Look, I'm not saying I've ever been a great student. I'm not saying I'd be a good businessman or anything. Don't get it wrong. At the end of the day, I'm quite smart. But you know, back in the day, Odin used to say I had the most potential? The most natural intellect? That could be scary, I just need to be motivated. Let me say, Vels, you're doing quite a good job of motivating me right now. My stare lasted for a couple more awkward seconds. Those seconds, my perception of Polly was slightly, but significantly shifted. And just as quickly as Polly had put on a serious expression, he dropped it, slumping back into his chair. Oh man, this is awkward. I totally killed the mood, didn't I? My bad. Get a little intense when I remember my past. It's on me, by the way, I should reel it in. I don't want to create an uncomfortable atmosphere or anything, though. That's like, really not my scene. You get that, right? Right? Yeah. Thank you. Whew, I was worried I really gave off the wrong impression right there. So yeah, big point is, you're right. I need to change. I need to become a better man if I'm to inherit a Limbo. You're absolutely right about that. Thank you, Vels, for calling me out like that. I need people to hold me accountable more often. Else I'll really start to lose myself. Thank you. You're, welcome. Anyways, I think we're past that, right? Honestly, if you're getting all intense like that, I wish you'd just totally forget about that conversation. It's really embarrassing. You can do that, right? Just totally forget the last couple of minutes ever happened? Sure. Awesome. You're the best, Vels. Anyway, I think that's all we have to talk about. I'll keep housing Krish. Wouldn't want to do Art's finding, and that'd be real bad. As for your part, you know, I don't really think you need to do anything. You've done more than enough already. Thanks for that. We can handle the rest from here. Okay, then. Cool. Oh, you can go now, by the way. We could talk for a bit longer. No, I think I'll be going now. Alright then. Take care. Just like that, I decided that the meeting with Polly was over. Walked out of his office, still uneasy. Though I knew, functionally, he couldn't do anything, I still felt like speed walking down in the hall. Past the rooms, through through the security protocol, till finally I reached the elevator. Entered it, still feeling a bit uneasy. Then as I turned around, I saw Art at the end of the hall. I saw him lock eyes with me. Immediately I began pressing the elevator button to the first floor. I also pressed the button to make the doors close faster. Then I kept my head down. Hoped my hoodie would cover most of my face. Even from this awkward position, I could tell Art was making his way down the hallway pretty quickly, likely trying to get a better look at me. Sorry for him, that hallway was a bit long. It was a bit too late. Before he could get that close, the doors were closed and the elevator was going down. Do. Just like that, I was on the first floor. But just a bit more walking from there until finally I was out of that accursed building. Back in the open airs of Panthea. Then I was just walking around outside. Decompressing. Felt dirty. That was an exaggeration. Felt apt. Polly. God, I kind of knew how the conversation was going to go ahead of time. I knew there wasn't an elegant way out. I had no idea it was going to go that poorly. It's not like I had faith in Polly. Somehow I was still disappointed. Guess I thought just on some level he couldn't be that bad. Probably had issues, but still, he was... I don't know what I thought he was. Because I just didn't want to think that both Deisma brothers were completely unredeemable. God, what was Odin doing as a father? One's a fluke, two's a pattern. Usually one's a fluke, two's a coincidence, three's a pattern. Ironically, we do have three. But I only had two to work with, so the saying had to be altered. Why was I feeling so down? I guess I did actually have some faith. No, not faith. Hope? Hope that some segment of society wouldn't be completely fucked by power? Silly me. Anyways, I took out my phone from my pocket and pressed the stop button on the recorder app. That's probably taken care of. I was worried a bit about the sound quality. It would be fine. Probably didn't say in explicit words anything completely damning, but he pretty much implied it in any way possible. This recording was basically a silver bullet. I could kill Polly any way I wanted now. Business world, and personal relationships in the public eye. And that would just leave Art in control, huh? Ah, fuck. What a fork. It's kind of genius in a way. Both options sucked, it was hard to make a move against either. Made you want to just give up on doing anything altogether. That wasn't the right option. Well, I was in no rush. I'd gotten what I came for. I'm sure I'd be able to find some way to put it to good use before too long. Meantime, there were about a dozen other problems I should be juggling about now. Polly's comeuppance where I'd have to wait. Oof. Not a good look, Polly. Yeah? By that, I mean, acting all threatening and scary, and then immediately letting someone walk out with a prime blackmail audio file. Pretty lame, if you ask me. Honestly, why doesn't everyone have secret recorders on their person at all times? It seems awful convenient. Oh, is there a law against that or something? There might be. Whatever, just be smart about it. Because it'd also, eat up a lot of data or whatever. If someone ever found out about it, you'd probably, be killed by 7 different acquaintances. Okay, maybe not my best idea. Still, clearly it's effective in certain circumstances. Case in point. Just the fun scene to watch, you ask me. Quite like watching Polly cycle through possible approaches, having them all fail. Problem is, unlike most people, Vels had played things too close to the chest. Polly is completely unable to correctly read the situation. The tried and true methods of manipulation are rendered ineffective in this context. As odd as it was, having that brought up out of the blue like this, it really was a perfect setup to exposing Polly. Sort of had hints of it, but not enough to confirm anything. be clear, I'm not claiming that Polly is some sort of sociopathic master of persuasion. You can develop such habits subconsciously, simply mirroring what ends up being effective. Though maybe Polly is a secret mastermind of some type. Can't rule it out. You think if he were, he wouldn't constantly be in so much shit. But maybe that's his 4D chess or something. I wonder how Vels is going to approach things, especially with this whole upcoming shareholder meeting that was mentioned. Probably going to be, like, important or something. I'm just saying. It's sort of been set up. Be a bit weird if it didn't pay off in some way. Like, how's that going to change things? Who's going to be the CEO by the end of it? Right now, Art's sitting pretty, but Polly's been developing this whole counter plan. After this whole encounter, I doubt Vels wants Polly to succeed. Not that Art is seemingly much better. Who knows? Maybe Odin will decide to be a wild card and somehow claim the CEO mantle for himself. Maybe the third Deisma brother, Devin, will make his Dark Horse entrance. It could happen. Char will somehow make a power grab. We shall prove her virtue, and the Deisma brothers will surrender to her. Maybe this whole time she's been as scheming as the rest of them, and the shareholder meeting will be the moment where the plan sprints. Or what the hell, something else completely could go down. It's really impossible to know, it's totally up in the air. You know what things that are up in the air are good for. That's right, baby, I'm sure you saw this one coming. Time to gamble. And hey, since there's so many different outcomes to bet on here, I'm cranking up the payout to 4-1. That's right, this is your chance to win big. So come on, what's your gut say? Really go big with this one. In the next shareholder meeting, who will be the CEO? Oh, wow. That's a hell of a choice. That's a real big vote this time. 4-1 payout. Bet might not be so big since I foresee a wow, 6 choices. I can't actually fit that into one YouTube poll, can I? It's a lot. I mean, we can see. Why the fuck are you updating? We can see, but this will be interesting. I suppose next time on the Divine Deception, we will find out what our prediction is as to okay, we have 5 max. We have 5 options max, so that's going to be interesting to judge. Fair enough. So next time in the Divine Deception, who will be the CEO of Olimpo? Man. Can't say it's really have much setup beyond a threat on Polly's life by Art. Art engaged Aisha to send Devin to kill Polly. We know that. I suppose, in terms of setup for the mystery here being beyond just the Art Polly binary, is that Art's phone call means that potentially there may be someone pulling Art's strings to some degree. I suspect that person is Odin, but if there's a realistic third contender, it would be Odin, I think. Char would be an interesting outside force. I do not think he'll be Devon. Devon has murder on the mind. And that does not make him a good candidate for CEO. I don't really know. I think I'll leave this option off the poll, because I don't really think that's going to be the case. Though, again, it's hard to tell. I suppose we'll see next time. Until then.